Imagine trying to fall asleep knowing something stronger than you is awake. There are no walls to protect you, no doors to lock, no flashlight, no weapon within reach, just darkness stretching in every direction, broken only by sounds you can't identify. Somewhere beyond the tree line, something is moving. You don't know what it is. You don't know how close it is. And yet, for hundreds of thousands of years, ancient humans lay down every single night in the open, surrounded by animals that could have killed them in seconds. And most nights, nothing happened. So here's the real question. If you were prey, defenseless, unconscious, completely exposed, why wouldn't a predator take the easiest meal of its life? Sleep is, biologically speaking, one of the worst possible times to be an animal. Muscles go slack, senses dull, reaction time collapses to almost nothing, and awareness of the surrounding environment drops close to zero. Nearly every prey species on Earth treats sleep as a moment of extreme risk. Rabbits burrow underground. Birds perch high in branches out of reach. Herd animals sleep in shifts, taking turns to stay alert while the rest deeply. Humans do almost none of that. For most of our evolutionary history, we slept in the open, on bare ground, often with nothing but a small fire and a thin layer of skins between us and whatever moved in the dark. Which makes the original question even stranger. Biologically, we should have been one of the easiest targets imaginable while unconscious. So something else, something beyond biology alone, had to be protecting us. To understand what that something was, we need to think for a moment like a predator. Predators don't attack every living thing that crosses their path, and they can't afford to. Hunting is expensive. It costs energy, it risks injury, and it fails far more often than it succeeds, sometimes more than half the time, even for skilled hunters. So over millions of years of trial and error, predators evolved something like an internal search image, an instinctive template of what actually counts as prey. 4 legs. A horizontal body held low to the ground, a particular gait, a particular rhythm of movement that the predator's brain has learned, generation after generation, to recognize instantly. Deer fit that image perfectly. Gazelles fit it. Wild boar fit it. Something upright, unusually tall, and strangely proportioned does not fit that inherited template nearly as well. Humans stand vertically. 2 legs, an upright spine, a silhouette almost nothing else in the animal kingdom shares. To a predator's inherited template of what prey looks like, an upright human is an anomaly, something closer to unfamiliar than edible. Unfamiliar objects in the animal world are treated with caution first, not appetite. This alone doesn't make us safe, but it buys us something enormously valuable: hesitation. Before we go further, if this kind of question is the kind of thing you enjoy thinking about, consider subscribing and sharing this with someone who'd find it interesting too. Now back to the dark. Hesitation only goes so far. What actually turned that hesitation into long-term safety was fire. Nearly every nocturnal predator on Earth has an instinctive aversion to open flame, an aversion built over millions of years of avoiding wildfires. Smoke masks scent, light disrupts night vision, and the flickering, unpredictable movement of flame reads, to an animal brain, as something unstable and best avoided. Ancient humans didn't just use fire for warmth or cooking. They used it as a wall, an invisible perimeter that most predators simply refused to cross. Fire wasn't the only layer of defense. Humans also almost never slept completely alone. They slept in groups, often arranged so that someone, or something like a dog, stayed at least partially alert through the night. More eyes and ears meant more chances that the first faint sound of movement got noticed before it ever became a real threat. Group sleeping also changed the math for any predator considering an attack. Even a successful strike on one sleeping person, already one of the rarest events in the historical record, risked waking an entire group of adults capable of fighting back with fire, tools, and numbers. For most predators across most of evolutionary history, that risk simply wasn't worth the reward. Then there's something even less obvious than fire or numbers: smell. Human scent doesn't resemble anything else in a predator's usual environment. It's tied to smoke, to cooked food, to tools, to the layered chemical residue of living closely with dozens of other humans over a lifetime. In the animal world, novelty is treated as dangerous by default, long before it's treated as an opportunity. A smell that doesn't match any known pattern isn't investigated first. It's avoided first and only reconsidered later, if ever. But here's the part almost nobody expects. In 2011, researchers ran an experiment in South Africa. They played recorded sounds to wild predators at night: lion roars and simply human voices, calm, ordinary conversation. The animals didn't just react more strongly to the human voices, they fled almost twice as fast and from twice the distance compared to the sound of actual lions. To almost every large predator studied since, humans register as the most frightening sound in the environment, more frightening than their own natural rivals. We assumed for most of history that we were hiding from the predators. The data suggests something closer to the opposite. None of this makes humans invincible. And history remembers the exceptions precisely because they are exceptions. The man-eating lions of Tsavo, in 1898, killed dozens of railway workers over the course of several months, a case still studied by biologists and historians today. Injured predators, aging predators, or ones that can no longer catch their usual prey, sometimes turn to whatever option remains easiest. And humans become that option only when the normal protective calculus already described completely breaks down. These stories survive in memory not because they were common, but because they were rare enough to become legend. So the truth turns out to be stranger than either comforting myth or nightmare. Predators didn't ignore us because we were harmless. They avoided us because, across millions of years, we became something stranger than ordinary prey, and in some ways, stranger than an ordinary predator too. We were the unfamiliar shape, standing upright in the dark, the fire that shouldn't be crossed, the voice, according to the data, more frightening than a lion's own roar. Every single night you've ever slept outside without a second thought, something was almost certainly watching from somewhere just beyond the light. And across that entire distance, in complete silence, it decided you weren't worth the risk. Not to give you answers. To reveal the paradox. Every question has a story. Welcome to Human Mystery.